The Australian Capital Territory has announced a 1-2-month justice reinvestment trial program in an effort to reduce rates of Indigenous incarceration, which are the third highest per capita in the country, after Western Australia and the Northern Territory. The $926,000 program, called Yarabi Bamra meaning Walk Tall in the local Ngunnawal language, will fund intensive support 10 young families deemed at risk of further involvement in the justice system. It will be run by the Winunga Aboriginal Health Service, one of only 2 Aboriginal-controlled community organisations in the Act, and include $367,000 additional social health workers as well as additional funding, the Aboriginal Legal Service, Domestic Violence Crisis Service, and an Aboriginal Police Liaison Officer. Julie Tongs, Chief Executive of Winunga, said the program was badly needed in the Act, where the number of prisoners has doubled in the past 10 years. I feel like, at the moment, all we do is band-aid, Tong told Guardian Australia. There's too many of our people incarcerated and that's what we are trying to prevent. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Act are jailed at a rate of 2,266 per 100,000 according to 2016 data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, behind only Western Australia and the Northern Territory. About 23% of all prisoners at the Act's only prison, the Alexander Makanochi Centre, identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, compared to 1.5% of the general population. In the absence of Aboriginal-specific justice services that bigger states have, Tongs said the task of meeting the needs of the highest-risk Indigenous families has fallen to Winunga and its social health teams, who help clients with issues from Centrelink infractions to homelessness to difficulty getting a job. The Yarabi Bamra program will expand that work and select 10 families out of existing clients to be part of the pilot program with the aim of addressing the social and cultural determinants that contribute to a person committing crime or going to prison, rather than focusing in on criminal behavior. It will also introduce government executive sponsors minus senior bureaucrats who can be contacted directly by Winunga to prevent requests, assistance from being caught in conflicts between government departments. If people come out of prison and they have got no money, or they have been given a $40 voucher and have got nowhere to stay, that's not very helpful, Tongs said. What we find is that when people are coming out and their relationship has broken down, there's nowhere for them to go. They don't know how to navigate the system. They don't know how to navigate Centrelink. They might not understand what the Centrelink worker is saying and they might get angry, and then they get banned. If you have got out of jail, and you have got nowhere to live, and you have got no money, then it's easier to refund, because then you go back to jail and you do have somewhere to sleep, and you do get 3 meals a day. It's not an ideal situation. The Act's Justice and Corrections Minister, Shane Rattenberry, said he had followed media reports about justice reinvestment programs in Burke and Cora in New South Wales, but the Yarabi Bamra program had been designed by local stakeholders specifically to address local needs. Most persuasive of those was Tongs herself, who told Guardian Australia she had strong-armed the government into accepting a model she believed would work. Julie has made her case, which is very strong, Rattenberry said. She's a very forceful figure and she has a very strong conviction about how to get this done. In some ways, government has taken a risk in taking these ideas on board, but we have to be willing to take a risk and do things differently. The things we have done until now have not delivered what we need. We have got over a presentation, so we have to be able to try new things. The Act's prison population increased from about 250 when Rattenberry became minister. Corrections in 2012 to about 450 this week. It has spent $4.5 building new cells and now has capacity for 539 prisoners. If the prison population continues growing at its current rate, it will exceed capacity in less than 3 years. We are seeing across the country, in every jurisdiction, increases in the number of people that are sent to jail, Rattenberry said. Jurisdictions are then having to put large amounts of money both in capital injection and high ongoing recurrent costs in correctional systems, so if nothing else, there's an economic motivator to think more creatively about justice policy.